everyone, welcome back. I'm Sleepless Starlight, and today I will be drawing a somewhat gothic antisocial character. Going into this rough sketch that I like to call the Stickman phase, all I really knew was that I wanted to make this character holding some sort of pet, and I decided to make that a kitty because whenever I'm going on a walk around my neighborhood, I love to pet a cat if I see one. If I'm going on a short walk, if I see a cat, everything else goes on pause. I don't care if I have somewhere I need to be, there's a cat, and I need to pet it. Thus, I had this character hold a cat because I thought it would be really fun to draw, and I specialize in drawing people, but I struggle with drawing animals, so I wanted to practice with that a little bit. So for this character, usually while I'm working on the drawing, I'm also thinking in my head for the majority of it, okay, what sort of personality do I want this character to have? What do they act like? What all these questions, la 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 la. So I decided to make this character have very dark colors, and I thought maybe she's really antisocial, which frankly I can understand. Peopling is very difficult. In the beginning of the rough sketch on paper, I thought maybe she should have a bit more of a smiley face because maybe she's an anti-hero or an anti-villain or something. But something about her struck me as the sort of person that doesn't seem very friendly or talkative or chatty, so I thought maybe I should give her a bit more of a not happy face, I guess. This character kind of strikes me as a person who she acts pretty cold and antisocial to new people, but once you start to get to know her, she's actually pretty pleasant and a nice person to be around. She's just a little bit prickly at first. Not exactly mean, but she's not exactly social or anything like that. But once you get to know her, she's pretty nice. Kind of like kitties. When you first adopt one, they might be a little bit scared of you, a little bit shy, but once you get to know them, they're really sweet and fuzzy and fluffy. That's kind of how I imagine her to be. I imagine that she just wants to live her life and pet her cats, if she has more than one. So I decided to give her this, oh my goodness, I decided to give this character some baggy clothes, just a basic hoodie and some leggings, because I thought maybe she doesn't really care about how she looks. She doesn't care how people think about her. She just wants to be herself and pet cats. And honestly, no matter what you're going to wear in public, people are probably going to judge you anyway, so you might as well have fun with what you wear. That's what I think, at least. So doll yourself up a little bit. Put on some accessories. I think that's really fun. For this character, I decided to give her and her cat matching bows. There's one bow on the cat's tail and one bow on her head, which I thought was so cute. Ah! Okay, so I decided to give her upside down heart earrings to kind of further display that antisocialness to her, because I wanted her to really look like she just does not want to talk to people. She is not in the mood for peopling right now. So I decided to give her some pretty dark colors because I just thought that's how things should go, I guess. So I really like coloring in the hair because I just get to have so much fun with it. All I need to do is color in the base, then do a lot of clipping, and I can just do random streaks in the hair, random colors, and it always turns out so pretty. So usually I just need to color everything in really carefully, and then I'm just allowed to have fun with it and do whatever the heck I want. So, I'm carefully coloring everything in because I am very nitpicky when it comes to my coloring. I don't want to color outside the lines, even if it's very, very tiny and you can only see it if you're very zoomed in. I know it's there, so I need to make sure it's not. So, anyway. Honestly, I can only really draw people well. Objects and animals are out of my area of expertise, so I'm trying to slowly step out of that comfort zone. For example, by drawing this little cat with her. So, I'm taking little baby steps, but also not trying to step too far out of my comfort zone. Just, slowly expanding it. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, when am I going to be finished actually just getting the actual base color of this hair down? When can I just, do the fun part? But once I was done with that, it was fairly simple. I realized that I forgot to color inside the eyes. That sounds a little bit weird. So I quickly finished up that, and now I could actually get to the fun part, the streaks! Recently, I discovered that my dog Estella absolutely loves my plants. I'm not much of a plant person, but I do have two on my windowsill in my room because I just think they kind of brighten up the place and look really pretty. But I realize that whenever I take down the plant, grab one of my plants to water them, if I hold it for a little bit, then Estella will start to take notice and sniff around it, and it's so cute to see her so curious about it. And I decided to let her see my orchid too, and she was absolutely loving it, and it was so cute. So I guess my dog loves plants. Estella, do you have any thoughts about plants? Okay, those are her little tiny words. So I'm coloring in that matching bow for the girl and her kitty, which is so cute. Oh my gosh. So I was coloring it in very carefully. I gave her a nice red bow that's the exact same color with her kitty. I also made it the same color as her earrings because I thought it would just make everything match a little bit better. For this character, I wanted to have very dark burgundies, reds, purples. You can see in the top corner. Then I realized I forgot to draw the cat's face. The audacity. And I decided to make this kitty look a little bit angry and antisocial, like their owner. So I started coloring in the hoodie and was very careful to not accidentally make the kitty this deep dark purple. So very carefully now I'm coloring around those fluff, I don't really know what it is, fluff? Whiskers? Cat? I don't know. Anyway. So I was coloring around it, and this color scheme kind of reminds me of Raven Queen from Ever After High. It seems kind of gothic, and she has lots of purples, deep pinks. I think this is kind of similar to that, which is really cool. So I colored in the deeper parts of her hoodie because the back of the hood is probably going to be darker because of shading, So now I am trying to figure out what to do next, and decided to color in the pants. I just decided to give her a really dark, burgundy-ish, reddish color for the pants. Just some simple leggings because, I didn't think it had to be too complicated. So anyway, I was continuing on and doing my best to figure out what's next. I decided to start working on the cat, and this was pretty fun because all animals' pelts and furs are going to be different, so I kind of just got to splotch around some browns and whites, and once I thought it was a cute design, I also gave the kitty some white paws, and a white boot, I guess, and I figured that I shouldn't give the cat just plain white because then it would be difficult to deal with when rendering, so I quickly went over it with a dark color, and then I would go over it again with just plain white so that it looks the same, but it won't be tricky with rendering. My process is weird, but it works, I think. So anyway, once I was done dealing with the really tricky cat's tail and everything looked the way I wanted it to, I moved on to what was next. I decided that the zip-up for her hoodie should be maybe a gold or a rose gold, so I experimented with a few things, but eventually just settled on plain old gold. I was thinking maybe the same color as pink gold peach, but it didn't really work as well as I thought it would, so I just settled for the plain basic color. I didn't really think that silver would work, or as well as gold would, although I did give her a silverish ring. Now I'm adding her fingernails because, people tend to have those. Anyway, now I'm coloring in her skin color, and once I found a color that I think worked pretty well, I I started just quickly coloring in everything. This is basically just when I'm filling in the gaps for everything that I haven't colored in yet. This is basically a really just small step to finish everything up, and once I'm done with this, I can move on to rendering, which tends to completely revolutionize a drawing. Imagine it as putting a filter on a selfie that just changes the coloring and everything, not your face or like a beauty filter or anything. It just changes the colors and makes everything somehow always look better. That's what I've discovered with rendering. Everything looks better when you render. It kind of rhymes, I think. Anyway, I started working on her eyes. I decided to give her some nice ruby red eyes because I thought it would look really nice. Sometimes red eyes can look evil, and sometimes they just look pretty cool. It honestly just depends on the character and, how you decide to display those eyes. So I quickly colored them in, just some simple shading, and now I was ready to move on to rendering. I think. Was I? Yes, I was. In my beginning stages of rendering, when I'm putting in the shade, it tends to look pretty extreme at first, like, oh my gosh, why is it so much darker now? You just need to lower the opacity a little bit and erase where you want things to be a little bit brighter, and everything tends to look a bit better. Anyway, I was just coloring in the lines so that everything pops a little bit better. Just getting those eyes and the mouth. Anyway, now I'm starting to give the eyes a little bit of a gradient. And now I'm getting ready to actually do the shading. So, as I said, things look a little bit very dramatic at first. Then, like, very, very dramatic. And I started to lower the opacity a little bit. As you can see, things are starting to look a little bit better. I'm experimenting with things a little bit, getting the area underneath her head, the hair underneath her head to be a little bit darker. Now I'm just adding a few shades, I guess, on top of it. Then you lower the opacity a little bit, and it basically acts as a filter. Once that was done, though, we were finished with the drawing. So there we go. So here's the drawing without rendering. Pretty simple, but we can add a little bit more spice. That's a little bit better, don't you think? So thank you so much for reaching the end of this video, and please let me know what you think I should name this character and her cat down below. Thank you so much to Whimsy Stealer last video for giving me the idea to name my character Jade. Of course, anyone is free to just let me know in the comments what ideas they have, and I'll be happy to see what you can come up with. So, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!